Haven't been live for a long time. G'day, how you going? Ian Applis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. How you going? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring you over here and show you the horizon line. It's right in the middle. And this is going to be a simple but effective art lesson in acrylic, just to show the beginner how to set up a simple, easy and effective painting with a sunset over a lake or a river or a swamp, okay? So get on over here and let's get right into it. Right, what I'm going to do, I've got my horizon line here. Now, this is going to be a simple but an effective sunset over a lake, river, or a swamp. And I'm going to show you a mistake that I made in previous paintings that I don't do in this one. So get on down here, right down here. Look, there's nothing on my palette. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some of my soft titanium white and just ubulate some of that onto my palette, just like that. Now, I'm putting enough there to do the whole canvas because this is live and I want to get it done. I don't want to muck around, and the best way to get it done, I'm going to add some retarder. What's that? That slows down the drying time of acrylic paints. I need my putter on a brush. Now see this brush, it's dry as buggery. Now if I put that in the paint when it's dry, you could get a stain of paints in your bristle. So I've wet it first, but I've got some retarder here, so I'm just going to wet that first, and then I want to mix this up. So I'm not mixing straight dry paint. Now I want to get this up here. And if you're a YouTube channel member, you get shout outs in my lives as well. That's one of the perks. You get a few perks. And also you're just coming to my channel and you're saying to yourself, you know what, I like what you do, Ian. Here's a couple of bucks a month for the price of a cup of coffee, and it supports me content. Now I'm going to even this out left and right with the tip of my brush and make it a nice thin even film on top of my canvas there. Now I'm using a decent quality canvas and I use decent quality paints as well. All right, that can be wiped. I did get everything ready, but I forgot about my kitchen towel, so I'm just going to wipe that, right? See, like that. Why aren't I washing it? Because that paint is already on the canvas. So I'm going to pick up the sky colors to put in there. So I want to start. Now I will put a list of these colors in the description box after this live is done. I can go back and edit it in. So what I want to do is pick up my Indian yellow on me putter on a brush, because that is going to put it on. I'm not going to muck around with a little brush like this and take a month of Sundays. I don't like doing that. I just like getting things done. It's just my nature. All right, so back up here. So there's me horizon area. I call it an area because that's the area where the horizon line would be. Straight across the guts. Look at that, right in there. You don't want this to go too high, but I know I'm going to have some trees, so I want some of this yellow peeking through, all right? And the more you pick up and lay your brush down, you get these deeper. Now I'm going to just fan it up like that and down into the water a bit. Now, down here, I'm going to wipe the brush again. I've got yellow ochre. Now, a little tip, yellow ochre will prevent your yellows turning green if you're going to mix them straight with next to the blue. But this helps anyway. This is just going to be look like a darker value of the yellow. And I want to get this roughly here and there as well in the water, just like that. Now what I'm doing, I'm wearing it off me putter on a brush, just so it's going that color. What is it, mustardy color or something? And now I'm blurring it into that yellow, crisscrossing it down. I'll crisscross it up as well. Just controlling it where I want it to go. Now I'm going to stroke it left and right, get it up there a bit. Okay, I'm going to wipe the brush and pick up, no, oh, yeah, I can do that. It's all right. It's red and yellow. Pick up me, what's this one here? It's permanent alizarin and quinacridone magenta. This is quinacridone magenta. Okay, very strong, very powerful, just like me. All right, now we want some of this. I don't want too much here, so I just want a little bit of this there. Boom. Oh, and I've got a doobie dib right there I don't want. Look at that beautiful. Look at that. That's nice. Wonder what that'll do. The things you do. Look at that. Now I want some of this just urbulating into that yellow and coming up to where the blue can darken it. So urbulate that down. What I mean by urbulate is just pushing it down into the yellow there. And then when you've done enough of that, you can come to the tip of your brush because all the paint's pushed up and I can control that. Watch. Too easy. You can do that as well. Now get some of this vibe in your water as well. This is real quick, this one. Whenever I do a live, I've got to try and get it done within the hour. There we go. BEA, beautiful. I liking that. And now we can get our blues in there. So I'm going to pick up another putter on a brush. I've just off camera wet the bristles. And I'm going to bring you down here. And I've got phthalo blue. Because it's a night sky, it's going to be a bit dark and scary when all the cats are inside. Or if you've got a dog that sits on your bed and keeps you cuddly and warm at night, it's when they're inside as well. All right, look at that. Look at that. That blue paint all over me brush. Righto. Now this is just going to go straight up the top. I'm not going to touch there. I'm going to bring it to the top, get the dioxazine in there, and then I want to just gingerly, I'll come down the bottom before I contaminate it. Gingerly squander that into that red colour there, just like so. And then the same up here. Squander it into there. Urbulate some of that down if you want to. And then look at it. Always, I was never told when I was learning, I was never told to look and analyse your work. But I know from my own practice, everyone's different, it does pay to analyse your work. There we go. Now the water can always be a different, darker vibe. That's why I brought some of that up. It doesn't matter if it turns green because it's water. I'm going to wipe this brush. Now, see, what I've done wrong in the past that I told you in the beginning of this video, I'm glad you stuck around for that because you're going to find out, but just let me darken up the sky down here with this dioxazine purple. That's going to mix with the pthalo blue, eh? We all thought that was a weird name when we started painting, didn't we? All these weird names, and deoxazine purple, which is dioxazine purple now. Now that, hopefully, control it. Watch this. Well, it's not wet enough, so I'm just going to brush it on. I don't want to muck too much. There we go. I'm cupping the top of the painting. Don't worry about that red pen there. That was just me to remind me what I was calling the painting, an acrylic art lesson. Now I'm just bringing some of that down into the blue as well. Stroking it left and right. Does that light need to come on? I'll have a look in my monitor in a minute and see if it's too much. And down here, we just want a bit of scary darkness as well, just down there. All this so far has been done with me putter on a brush. If you want this putter on a brush and the blending brushes I use for me clouds, simply message me on Facebook. Go to the links in the description below. There's my Indianapolis Art Network. That's my Facebook group page. You can become a member there. Then you can message me. Okay. Now with the clouds, we need, I'll put that brush in the water as well. I used to do them white, but we need, let's say, I don't know, we'll grab a darker, what have I got here? I've got some of this and the yellow. What does that make? That'll do it. So I've got some hydrated water there. I'm just getting something to create a footprint of a cloud. I don't want to go too crazy because I don't want to spoil my sky. So what I'm going to do is simply get this mix. It's sort of like a salmon-y colour, I suppose. Barry Radburn, did you make me a coffee too, Noreen? Noreen's making coffees for everyone. Good stuff. Now, I just want to do some clouds, so I'll come right across the sky here like that. Look at that. Did I ruin it or not? I hope I didn't. Let's get you in a bit closer. Did I use the right colour? That to me is too much on an angle. I want to kind of straighten it up a bit. So I'll do this. There we go. I've straightened it up. It's a cloud. Clouds can be any old way. And you want the darker clouds in front of your sunset skies instead of puffy white clouds. They belong in a blue sky, I feel, after looking at pictures and analysing stuff. I've got that there. I'm just looking. I want something. I'm going to put a bit of white with it just to see what it done, just to do that. Now, this might have helped or hassled it. I don't know. And I'm just pulling it across the sky, giving it some movement. Oh, get that along there. Now, what I would also like to do is probably just pick up some white and maybe on my very horizon here, get a glare. I want a glare. Grab another blending brush because that one's contaminated. Come over here and just kind of sit that glare into that Indian yellow there if it's going to work. A bit more. This is not the proper titanium white. This is that soft bodied stuff. I never usually use this. But I'm getting all rushy and flustered because I'm live and I've got to do it as it happens. I can't stop and take me time. I just want a bit of a glare there in the horizon bit. And what would a bit of white in that do? Sit it down into there. Now, if you're watching it and you haven't commented and you are not a subscriber, you need to be a subscriber for at least a minute, and then you'll be able to comment on this chat here. And if for those people that ever want to send super chat supports, always appreciated that as well. I'm just kind of making this cloud here a bit more bullshittingly good, pleasing to the eye. The people that don't know that word, I use it as a better way of saying wow. It's more of a bigger way of saying wow. And I want to kind of join those two clouds together, just like this. So hopefully it won't just look all iffity-affity and added all over the place. There we go. That's just background stuff anyway. Don't worry too much about that. What I've done here, you can do that. Do it your colors you want to use, okay? Now, I need a dark green. Now, I've got a dark, I'm going to use the whole lot of that, bugger it. I'll get it all out of there. And I need my faithful filbert. That's a filbert brush. Okay, so what I want to do over here, I don't know, I'll put it on there so you can see it. I've got some hydrated water. And I've got a very dirty brush because I just wiped it with a dirty rag. I want to just get this soft with some water, not too much, just enough so it's going to stamp on. Now, I'm going to use my bullshit stick to watch what I do here, just to get the area level. But first, let me get this paint all mixed up first. We've been going for 19 minutes. That's all right. So this is going to go across. See, there's my line there. It's off the painting where I painted over it, so I know where it is. So that's going to go there. Now watch this. This will just go straight across the guts like that, but it's going to be level. I even closed my eyes when I did that. That's why I call it a bullshit stick, because the things it does is that's bullshit how straight that is. It's just a square, but I say it in a polite way. Now you can put that away. You've got your level, you've got your area. You can come in a little bit closer and work out. I'm going to cover this bit here up. So I'm going to do the tops of my trees always like the tops. Let's say that's the top of the tree and the bottom of the tree. Always like this bit airy, then slowly getting solid to solid. That's what's going in my mind, but I'm not in Carolina. I'm here in Western Australia, Perth. So I'm doing all the tops first, nice and airy. I'll do a bit here. I'll come down, showcase that cloud off there because it's a beautiful looking cloud, and it's up to you what you want to hide and what you don't want to hide. So I'm just simply shape it. Now I'm going to go a little bit more heavier. Watch this. A little bit more heavier, leaving those windows in there. Now down here, it can be full heavy. Watch this. Boom, 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 boom. Like that. Once this has the highlights on it, it really starts looking the piece. And the more paintings you do, you will understand your colours. I was very unaware of the colour wheel when I first started, and it's amazing when you learn the colour wheel and colours and how they complement and how mathematically scientific they are to each other, like numbers are to each other. Colours are just the same. You'll be amazed when you start learning about colours, just how mathematical numbers are. Same principle applies to colours. Now I'm going to stand back and start analysing that because I don't want it to start looking too I want to give it some kind of, let's get way up here a bit, have a nice big bit, because when you're doing reflections, it's always good to have something distinctive popping down the reflections below and saying, g'day, how you all doing? Now, all we do is simply come below, get the thicker bits there. It's still a bit wet. I'm just going to start pulling it down like so, just like that, real simple. See that? Pretty easy, wasn't it? You can do that with your eyes shut. I did. And then again, see this thick bit here? That's all I'm putting down below. Just that thick bit there is that thick bit there. All this detail, that just gets boom, boom, boom down like that because it's a reflection. And you know what? The good thing about reflections is they can be distorted. Different colors, different lengths, different angles. Now, there we go. Now, well, it's not the trick. The method for doing trees like this, dry every layer. Otherwise, if I try and put the next color on there, it's going to mud up and you're going to think, what's going on here? So I've mixed the veridian green with some yellow oxide. And now I'll inculate that with some water. I'm just going to give it a bit of a test run up here. I can see that because it's a nighttime sky, so I do want it to be not too loud and daytimey colours up there. Okay, back up here. Now, get my camera out of the way. Might need me Malcolm stick, me mouse stick. I call it Malcolm. I'm just going to see if the light meter can come up a bit because I'm doing dark green. There we go. You can cancel. Hopefully that brought the light up a bit. I'll put on my second pair of glasses. Now, I pretty much, both sides come into the middle. So I'll start from the middle, grab my mouse stick. It's just a stick with a wine cork on the end of it, or a champagne cork. And then we'll start in the middle. Now, the very horizon line, leave that dark. You want this just cupping over it. And see the tops of this dark? You want to get this green on the tops of them to give it that realistic vibe and just kind of bow it into the middle of my painting. I've already doused it into some water, so it's going to transfer quite easily. There's my middle there. This is going to be pretty much the second color of the green. And you'll just see how that dark acted and came into play. How's that looking on there? Not too bad. Now, when I turn the color back to normal, it'll look a bit different, but because the color is on the camera is brightened up, it might look a bit cartoony or something of what different. And leaving the darkness there gives depth. Deep, dark depth is what you want when people see that. That's the sort of thing that makes people go, you know what? I like that. That's nothing more than you want to hear than when you walk in your house and your painting's on the wall and they say that. You know you've done the right movements and strokes within your brush work there, and you were listening to whoever taught you. All right, I better do the other side. So the other side's going to tilt in as well, that way now. Okay, now the bottom. Watch what we do to the bottom. Where are we? And the time here at my place is 20 minutes to 7 at night. I'm going to just put it on and pull it down. I want lines like that, you see, but I've got to come beyond that blackness. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to put it on like this and try and pull it down because I'll have heavy lines there. So I'm just going to, where's my camera? Like that, not like this, and then try and pull it down. It's just on and down. That's what I'm doing. That's what's happening. But I'm doing it quick. And go beyond the dark there. Don't leave the dark hanging. Go beyond that. But don't, where are we? See, I went a bit too heavy there. Try not to destroy it. Leave some darks there. If you kill all the darks, it sort of starts looking a bit iffity-affity. And even when you come to the edge of your painting, continue the plant, the tree, the subject off your painting so it doesn't look like it's framed to the edge of the painting. Like here, there's the edge there, but I'm not going to just stop there like that. I'll keep going so it'll look uniform, natural, and like nature intended it to look. Because the mistakes you make, everybody makes. We've all made them. Oh, that's a bit dark. And this is just simple and but effective reflections for acrylic paint. All right, now I've got to give this a dry. Now come down here, we've got green oxide. Now I'm going to see what this looks like, and I can also add some cadmium yellow if I want to arc it up a bit, but we'll put a bit there just in case and we'll just see. All right. Okay, where did my brush go? I'm using the same filbert brush. So believe it or not, I've only used 2 brushes in this whole painting so far, which is these 2. They're the only 2 brushes I've used in this whole painting so far. Okay, I've got my paint here. I'm just going to test that. And I also want to mix a bit of it and test it to see which vibe I want to be using, because it's going to create its own yellow-green here. So I haven't moved the camera yet, don't panic. Oh yeah, I like that. So a bit of yellow-green, a bit of cadmium yellow. Is it medium or light that I use for that? It's medium, actually. Medium and light are 2 different. When you put medium and light next to each other, you can actually see the difference. This one's warmer. You would use the yellow, cadmium yellow light because it's a cooler color. You could use that in water, getting that greeny, turquoisey. But this one here, I'm choosing to use it in my foliage. It's warmer. Now I've got that there. I'll just hydrate it a little bit, just like that. And now we'll go over that. This is less than what we just done with the second coat, with that second coat of green. This is going to be less. Get some of that off there. I'll just start up here first. And the good thing about this, you can leave, watch, I'll leave a big dark patch in the middle like there and just come over. I will keep looking in my monitor just to see how it's vibing. I've got to remember to turn the monitor light back once I'm finished so you get a true color of it. And this color here has the right to pop right in front of the dark bits every now and then if it wants to, just to set back some depth within your brush strokes on your foliage. So I'm going to do all this first before I go down to the reflection. Now do remember, I've said it a few times, I only paint in acrylic. So acrylic paintings are done totally different to the oil artists. They might do mountains and something their way, and trees. Oils and acrylics work different. I wouldn't paint, well, I don't paint mountains the way the oil artists do, you know, with a knife and blend the bottom and scratch it. I use a brush all the time. And then it's important to keep those dark bits in the reflection. So same again, just lightly get these crusted on there. Try and keep them in a downward, up and down position. Now I'm just analysing it, getting away any deliberate brushy stroke looking blobs and just trying to mask it with naturifiable looking vibe. I mean, you can also put something tall in there just to break it up. Let me get rid of that mouse stick. Let me have a look in there. Now what I'm going to do is just come back a bit, get my light meter and put it back to where it should be. That's it, that's looking dark. Now also, I might just get a little bit more, come down here, will you? Get a bit more yellow, medium, cadmium yellow medium. Okay, I don't need that much, probably this much. And it's going to be a very strong yellow green. Now I need that a bit wet, that's too thick, it won't stick properly. And I just want to put about, I want to cover about probably 15% of that foliage I've just got up there now with this. Let me just check. So just about 15% of it. I'm looking, I'm analysing, and, you know, just the tops here, this really sharpens it up. Like a little ball there. Highlight something coming over the shadows there. Maybe up here a little bit. Hopefully this is going to show in the video. Where am I? Over here. Not too much, just a little bit less, just enough to kind of give it so much, there we go, colour and depth. Remember that bit there I said I'll push in front of it? Well, this will help that happen. Watch. Pushing that darker bit back. See, my brush isn't wet enough. That didn't come off the brush. Now, well, easy. Look at that. Since I added some water. Just a little bit in there. Bits of it in there. I'm just adding a bit of white with that, just to mintulate the, not too thick though, the reflection side of it. So where I put all that. Okay. That's okay, that's okay, that's okay. Very simple, very easy. I'm just grabbing a flat brush. So I'll grab that. Because what I want, see, that's okay, it's fine, but it's looking a bit bare. Would have been going 42 minutes. Okay, grab some green, which is just simply the green oxide, just this one in white. Watch what we do here. Grab, well, that brush might be a bit too big, I think. Let me just, oh, I might just get it. You want this reasonably inky, but not too much where you see through it. You want it nice, chiseled and sharp, and you want your bullshit stick for this, or your square, your ruler. Now see the land over there across the water far, far away. What we're going to do is we're going to put a bit of a lawn, a bit of a bank in there. You can go all the way or a bit of the way. We'll see it. Now I'm going to rest on here. There's my horizon line, and I just want to keep the darkness, just twist it, getting some of this right across there. It's thin here because there's a little less darkness. Now that isn't much, but look at that, a bit of lawn. I've got to dry that paint that I use. I'm just going to grab some of this craft white and give it a bit of a minty vibe. And I just want to just kiss the top of that lawn, just very lightly. I'm going to wet my brush. I want to grab some of, let's say, the white and the perrylene green. This one, I don't know why I picked that up. Just some of this. Give it a bit of a marbly grey colour on my brush. I've got to wash it, get most of that glug off, and then pick it up. You don't have to do this, but it's worth it if you do, because it's there forever. Before I put the white on, or you could probably do it after the white, just give yourself some little trunks out here on the green and off the green, so that you look like you got trees all different, far away and deep within your bush there. I'll just do a few. Look how small they are. It's all you need. And I always like to do them straight, do a couple next to each other, Y off them a bit, just so they get that natural look. He'll come. I might have to, when I put the white on there, I might have to put some of them back. Okay. But you can see, let's hopefully, did that pick that up? It did, it's there, it's all good. Now I just want to quickly get this on there to liven up that bank of grass there. And when you do this, don't just do a line on the top, get a bit creative, and I'm here to show you, if you're not, how you can be creative. Watch, I'll come to the very top of that, and I want to just sweep it down, boom. See what I've done? A bit more, let it break up because it's nature. Boom, sweep across. Come across here, I'm sweeping it, boom. And this will go all the way. This is enough for all the way. That'll do it. Now, it might not look like much, but in the real life, let's get a bit closer so you can see that, hopefully. It's just gave it a bit more pizzazz. And now back with those tree trunks, when you put them on the actual lawn, so you come like this one here, it comes down on the lawn a bit as well. So it looks like some of them are on the lawn. I've got some scratch marks there. I'll cover them up with some trunks. But that's it. Pretty simple for those trunks. I reckon they look all right. Because what I will do as well, while I've got this, I'm just going to put some of my channel members in the sky there. So to do that, where are you? You're looking at the painting right about here. Let's put some channel members in there. All right, so we'll get a cluster of them. Just, I don't do the typical V's. I'm doing like monkey blobs, and then they'll start looking like some V's. Some of them are further away, and then some of them will be closer. I want them to be an artistic mess that represents a bird. I don't want it to be a typical V or an M. That's just the way my mind's thinking, okay? And at the end of it all, I think they do look like birds fluttering in the sky there. Gone off away. Some distant ones there. You can do some typical V ones if you want. And just remember, you can do it. I'm here to show you that you can. When you know what to do, that's when you can tell everyone you can do it. Okay, that'll do for our birds. See how easy they were? And they're not that typical V. They look different. They're unique. They're your birds. That's me channel members there. There's I forget all their names, but Barry's in there and Cindy Greer and yeah, there's a few there. Oh, I'll tell you what, because it's water, we better put just, I'm going to grab a different smaller brush like this one here. Right, see that one? It's not as script liney as the other one. And I'm grabbing the paint that's not so wet, just so as I can, where are we? Just get some vibes of those birds in the water there, just pulling down, just looking at it where the mass is, and it'll just look the part. Look, you've got some over there. How's that? That was too easy, wasn't it? That's why I say you can do it, because if I can do it, you can. I don't have magical powers that make me do what I do. It's just practice. And that looks like the reflection in the water. Now, what else can you do to this? We've been going for 51 minutes. That's been pretty good. And you can always put something in front of this. Now, see the trees there? I want to show you something. I'm going to grab my big, flat, sharp brush. Let's try this while I've got a bit of time. I don't know. I haven't done a tutorial. I've started a new job, and it's taking up a lot of time. So hence why I'm not around a lot. I'm just sort of testing the waters here, seeing if I want to do this or not. So I'm putting those ripples. This just gives your reflections a bit more realisticness. I've done it in a lot of like over covered bridge videos with reflections, and if you want to, I won't do it in this, but you can get that color there and sort of scatter it back within your tree reflections as well. And this is just the movement on top of the water. And you can see just what that's done to the reflections. Little bit of white. So I'm going to grab just a little bit of the mintulated green there and adding more white to it, just to see here if it's going to. I don't think I really want to. I might just put a band across here and leave it at that. Sometimes you get a white glare across your water. This brush is not quite flat enough. I'll leave it alone. But see how that just looks like, I'll go this way. It looks like surface on top of the water. I can sink some of those bird reflections down with that surface, some of those lines there. But kind of keep them lineal. Don't keep them in little short, chubby clusters. Stretch them along like that. And the best way to answer a question that you have is do what you're asking and see if it's working for you. And that's the best and easiest way to answer your own question a lot of the time. Not all the time, But so I've had some people say, if I do this, this, and this, will this happen? And I feel like saying, well, give it a go and you'll find out. It's that easy. I won't do too much of this. I'll probably need some in here as well, just to... I should be using my bullshit stick so it'll stay level. But you can see what that's done to the water, okay? So let's sign this, Mr. Iannapolis. Where's my... Can you see me there? And thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. Tell me where you're from, who you are, and I'll say hello back. And don't be shy to support your favourite YouTuber. And I always put Steve's little footprint there for those people who weren't aware of that, my cat Steve. So we'll pull this off. Now, my canvas isn't coming off because I've stapled it to the cork board there. That's a cork board painted in black gesso. Now, I take the tape off and I'll get my mat. I've got a secret line mark there so I know where to put the mat. I know it's there. And it'll cover the painting. And then when I sit my frame on that ledge, everything lines up. Okay, and then I say, there we go, that's not too shabby, is it? Got a beautiful, simple, effective water lake reflection scene there. And I know you can do it. Well, I had a lot of fun doing that. I hope you enjoyed the process. I know I did. And if you liked what you saw, you tell your friends. But if you don't like what I'm doing, you tell everybody. Goodbye, good luck, and good on you.